Eddie Stobart is shifting it up a gear.
Away we go then!
This is where the fun begins now, getting these things off.
They're among the maestros of the motorway. Cleared for takeoff as Southend Airport reaches more destinations than ever.
Thank you. Next, please.
Investing in new kit for their precious cargo.
The milk float's on steroids.
As you can see, it's a big one.
They're taking on some of the toughest tasks.
Come on! Don't want no trouble today. No hassle, no arguments.
Defying the darkest weather.
I don't like snow. 1 minute there it was clear, and the next minute couldn't see nothing.
And meeting their meanest moments.
That's got to be one of the worst stops that I've ever done.
Oh, I can't go.
But the pressure is always on.
Perfect, that. I couldn't have done better myself.
To keep this firm's foot to the floor.
Just keep going and fighting through it.
We're up against it a little bit at the moment.
16:59, and I had to be here for 5 o'clock.
Coming up, ex-serviceman Jimmy Callahan's ice cool starts to melt on a treacherous run down the M6.
Whoa. Every time we hit a gust of wind, the steering wheel's going like the clappers. Keep your wits about me in this, I think.
Day driver Eddie Murphy is up against it, running the cans through to Glasgow.
You do have a cut-off point roughly about 6 o'clock. We will need to make a move a little bit.
And waste warrior Tim Fox's sat-nav is driving him round the bend.
Oh, I can't go.
"24/7, the company battles it out on Britain's roads, clocking up over 200 million miles per year, equivalent to 30 times around the Earth every day. Taking it all in his stride is ex-serviceman Jimmy Callahan.
Things are sent to try us. And as we used to say in the army, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
With his army know-how, 44-year-old day driver Jimmy is ready for anything a British winter could throw his way.
Well, the aim of the game is to get the deliveries there on time. Being the urban warrior, you soldier on.
It's 3:30 a.m. and while the rest of the country is expecting sunshine, up at the Widnes depot, it's a freezing start. Jimmy's just arrived to pick up his job sheet for the day.
Morning, Joe.
Morning, Jim.
What do you like to send me to today?
I'm going Ulverston first.
Ulverston in this weather? Ulverston in this weather. See you later.
No problems, give us a call, Jim.
Will do. Sit down now.
Bye.
With a freak snowstorm already arriving, this soldier of fortune wastes no time battening down the hatches.
Plan is to get out of here as soon as possible because that M6 is going to be a nightmare in this weather, I tell you.
Half an hour later, he's shipshape and on the road. Today, Jimmy is driving 95 miles from Widnes to Ulverston near the Lake District with 28 roll cages of groceries. Next, he'll retrace his steps back down the M6 to his second drop on the outskirts of Liverpool. From there, it's a quick 10-minute jaunt around the corner to his last stop of the day.
Done nearly every shop in the Lake District apart from this one.
It's uncharted territory, so our trooper would rather be on manoeuvres elsewhere.
I don't know really what to expect. Just by what the lads have told me, and they don't tell me good stories about it, like.
It's hardly the front line, but Jimmy's definitely got his own battle plan.
Instead of going out into the country in 40 centimetres of snow, nah, I'd sooner be in the cities, mate. Arguing with the car drivers and shouting and cursing and you shouldn't be there, you shouldn't be there. So yeah, give me the city centre any day.
On your guard, Liverpool.
Definitely more of a people person than an animal person out in the country. Yeah, well, you can't talk to sheep or cows, man. suppose you could talk to them, like, but, you know, you'd get locked up for it, wouldn't you?
With 70 miles of the M6 under his belt, this feisty foot soldier turns onto the 25-mile A road into Ulverston. And like a good army boy, Jimmy prepares his plan of attack.
We'll just have to weigh up the situation when we get there and see how we like. Hopefully it'll all go to plan.
I don't want no trouble today. Every time I do this, there's always something. Do you know what? I want a nice, clear day. No trouble, no hassle, no arguments.
Till we get to Liverpool city centre, that is.
Whatever happened to improvise, adapt and overcome?
No doubt there's going to be a few bumps and scrumps there, like.
It's 10 to 7, and with the town's residents just waking up, Jimmy parks up on the hill without a skirmish.
This is where the fun begins now, getting these things off.
Oh my God, it's too tight, I can't get it. It's jammed in.
With the safety straps frozen, there's only one thing for it.
That's got it.
He starts the offload. But the steep slope is giving the cages a mind of their own.
If that goes, move out the way. Here we go.
You're dragging me down with it.
He eases the full cage onto the tail lift. But rolling the cages off the ramp is no straightforward matter.
Whoa.
So our quick-thinking colonel adds some muscle.
It's the weight of them, isn't it? And you're on a slope. Good job there's two of them, like. It's just one of them drops, it's, you know, there's no other way about it. Look at that one, look at them two, there's going to be some weight in them. Seeing as this floor's getting wetter, it's dragging me down as well with it.
As the cages come off, they don't get any easier.
Oh, this is unreal, this is unbelievable. Oh. This is ridiculous, isn't it?
It takes over an hour.
Oh. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
But eventually, all 17 trolleys are off. Even the empties don't go on without a struggle.
This is a nightmare, isn't it? This is a nightmare!
And with difficulty are manoeuvred into place. The drop's taken half an hour longer than it should, but at least he's out of here in one piece.
You see the slope on the street? That's got to be one of the worst drops that I've ever done. That one that nearly went over? God. Hopefully I won't be back here for a while.
This traumatised trooper's really wishing he were back in the city now. But he's still got to cover 90 miles to get there. Find out later if the deliveries get easier. Coming up, giant road train tramper Big Eddie Myers is miffed at his wife's idea of a joke.
I said, I'm supposed to be a big old toughy wagon driver. I can't walk in motorway services with a postman's hat, shower bag.
And bad winter weather gets Captain Callahan in a spin.
I'm just slipping in the snow.
The company started in Cumbria, and today the Carlisle depot is home to the biggest bad boys in the fleet. The specialist 18.75 metre road train. In charge of one of these monsters is the big daddy of trucking, 61-year-old tramper Eddie Myers.
Anybody asks me, I don't say I'm a tramper. I say I'm a transport logistics coordinator. They just walk away shaking their head, they don't know what I mean.
He might baffle others, but he's clear about one thing.
My pet hate is all the rubbish at the side of these motorways. There's bound to be somebody who could invent some machine just to hoover it all up.
Though not always pondering what he's got in the back, today is his birthday, and Lucky Eddie is going to be pulling most men's dream. It's 11 a.m. and Eddie's at a beverage can factory in Carlisle, picking up 24 pallets of empties destined to be filled with beer. Crown Bevcan churns out 2.2 billion cans per year. That's around 1,400 every minute. Machines on the factory floor turn 1,000 tons of aluminium into cups. Conveyor belts move the cups using vacuum suction around the factory. Finally, their machines stretched into the traditional can shape. From start to finish, it takes only 60 minutes to make a tinny. As metal is recyclable, an empty could be collected and back on the shelf within 60 days.
A little moment to offer you a visit.
All right.
I'm sorry it's empty.
Thanks very much. You've got a real crate for me somewhere, haven't you?
I'm sure
You've got it hidden.
Well, you can't blame a man for trying. Leaving later than planned, Big Eddie's keen to get a move on.
Right, that's us. Ready to rock and roll. Get this beer up for these thirsty Scots.
It's time to get the empties across the border.
Next stop, Glasgow.
Today, our birthday boy is driving 93 miles northwest from Carlisle to the Bells Hill depot on the outskirts of Glasgow. At the drop, the cans will be handed over to a second driver, also called Eddie, for their short 12.5-mile shunt to the Glasgow brewery, where they'll be filled. As he hits the road out of town, this ale aficionado is keen to point out why two Eds with special trailers are better than one.
It tranships from me onto this. It's like a walk-in floor. I mean, I haven't got that facility on this vehicle, so they take all the pallets off me, put it on them. When he goes to the brewery, he just opens the doors. They all come out the back doors onto the conveyor belt and away they go.
Nevertheless, at 18.75 metres long, Big Eddie loves his wagon more than any other.
The beauty about them is the volume they take. They're the biggest that you can put on British roads.
And carrying 4 pallets more than a normal trailer gives this golden cargo an advantage.
You get an extra couple of pallets on, you know, and it's all about quantity at the end of the day.
With 64 beasts in the company's fleet, delivering 1.4 billion beers each year, enough to fill 280 Olympic-sized swimming pools, the nation won't be running dry. As he lugs his load up the M74, Ed's got his eye on the time.
We're running an hour late, so I think he's expecting us there for 2 o'clock, but it's going to be 3 o'clock by the time we get there.
With minutes slipping away, he hits the gas. But with a top speed of 56 miles per hour, he won't be going anywhere fast. An hour later, now only 35 miles from his drop, Eddie spots something that gets him in a lather.
That little truck stop there has good shower facilities, and at motorway services, some of the shower facilities are absolutely diabolical. Some of them are just, you'd think they'd never been cleaned for days.
Go on.
I've got to have a shower every day. I've got to wash my hair, you know, I've got to look good.
It's enough to get Eddie on his soapbox.
If I was the transport minister, I'd have somebody in charge of that and going round and saying, hey, make sure they have decent showers. And when I say decent showers, make sure they have showers that even I can fit in. I mean, some of these showers I go in, I'm touching 4 sides. My wife, I said to her at the weekend, I said, look, I'm away all week. I says, get me a new washing bag. Last night she says, I've got you that new shower bag. She says, here, that'll do you. I says, I'm supposed to be a big old toughy wagon driver. I can't walk in motorway services with a postman pat shower bag. I says, what are you doing to us? She thinks it's funny.
At least it's a clean joke. Can this squeaky clean trucker climb off his soapbox long enough to make the handover in time? Find out later. "183 miles south, heading out of the Lake District, ex-serviceman Jimmy Callahan is on the second of 3 drops. But freak winter weather's got him yearning for home turf.
Oh well, we're going back to Liverpool now, in my comfort zone.
An hour into his return drive down the M6, and there's still no let-up in the weather.
Oh, this fella coming up here now, he's got his curtains open, that's how bad the wind is. Otherwise, the wind would flip him over. Got no weight on him to stop him, you see. We've got a box on, and it's thrown us everywhere here. I knew it wouldn't be long before we came across one. The wind has blew his roof off. Every time we hit a gust of wind, my steering wheel's going like the clappers. Just to keep us in this lane. Keep your wits about me in this, I think.
For the next hour, our top trooper battles on. But when he turns into his Liverpool drop, things aren't looking up.
And the milkman's in, that's all we need.
With time to kill, Jimmy gets all nostalgic about this run on home turf.
After this one, we're going to Wiston, the shop it used to be, my local pub. So don't say I don't ever take yous anywhere. To go and have a decent pint, I've got to get in a taxi, which cost me a couple of quid, instead of just walking around the corner.
It's a hard life. With the milkman on his way, the cages come off without a hitch.
It's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
Thankfully, he's not a brass monkey and gets on with the tip. An easier second drop, and Captain Callahan can almost smell freedom.
We are now winning the war. At Ulverston, we were winning the battle. Now we're winning the war.
Hang on, Jimmy. There's another drop yet.
The hardest thing about the next one is actually getting to where the back of the tail it needs to be. You'll see when we get there. It's going to be a nightmare.
Wouldn't have expected anything else. Jimmy hits the road for the 10-minute drive.
To me local. Let's go and have a pint, come on.
A quick shuffle across town and he's at his last drop. But with the snow now turned to slush, reversing into the delivery point isn't going to be easy.
I'm just slipping in the snow.
Try as he might, the wheels don't find any traction. He inches back, carefully avoiding parked cars. Even the shop staff's efforts don't help. So it's time for Plan B.
Man. They're going to tip it from here, take it through the shop. Save me having to back up all the way.
Offloading here will save Jimmy from hitting the skids. With the final drop on home turf nearly done, a friendly face turns up.
Oh yeah? Here's my daughter. My granddaughter. Hey! Granddad will be down in a minute. Okay.
His local might now be a mini-market, and his drops the stuff of nightmares. But our battle-weary troopers still got his daughter Sophie Louise on his side.
Now, I'm all finished. Going back to the depot, getting rid of this, and then my long weekend starts. Pity I won't be in this pub though.
It's the way of the world, soldier. Coming up, will two Eds be better than one at getting the cans across the land?
My run's harder than his. I've got to actually deliver the cans. He just moves them from A to B. I take them to C.
And will waste warrior Tim Fox's sat-nav drive him round the bend?
I can't go.
With thousands of trailers, containers and curtain-siders, the business is kitted out for diverse deliveries. Up north, Big Eddie Myers is hauling a road train, the biggest vehicle on British roads, filled with 100,000 empty beer cans to Glasgow. He might be late for his handover to another Eddie with a special trailer, but this Big Daddy's feeling confident.
So I'm sure I'll be able to bluff my way out of this. For some reason, I had a puncture or something. Something went wrong. This is us. We're here.
At the Glasgow depot, the long line of waiting trucks doesn't look promising.
They've got a backlog of vehicles coming in. I'm going to have to go and see them now and get somebody moved so we can get in and get our load off. Let him get away.
Eddie goes to sort it out.
Can't get in the place.
And shake it up in the office.
How are we doing?
I'm on your way.
Yeah, mate, at the moment, eh?
Another 10-minute delay. And finally, he's on his way.
As soon as these two are out the road, we're in. Marvellous, marvellous.
Eddie carefully reverses onto the unloading bay.
Perfect, that. I couldn't have done better myself.
And there's no time to lose, as the cans are switched from Big Eddie's beast of burden to Little Eddie's neat and nippy truck.
Simple, easy.
With 18 years' experience driving specialised wagons, 36-year-old Scotsman Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy?
Apparently there's a black comedian out there that's wanted my name. No similarities whatsoever. It's funnier than me, better looking than me, more money than me.
Bet he can't drive that fancy trailer, though. Loaded up and ready to leave, it's time to go Ed to Ed with a challenge.
Here, Eddie, I've got a present for you. This is a can they gave me at Crown, and an empty can's no good to me, but you were going to the brewery now, aren't you?
I am.
So if you get this filled, next time I see you, I expect to see you with a top on.
I'll get it filled
Good
up
man,
for you, Eddie.
good man.
Cheers,
Thanks
pal.
a lot.
With the cans on the final leg of their journey, Big Eddie's mission is complete.
Cheerio, amigo.
And as Little Eddie hits the road, for the 12 miles into Glasgow city centre, he's up against the clock.
You do have a cut-off point roughly about 6 o'clock, so it's 25 past 5 now, so we will need to make a move a little bit.
Nevertheless, Eddie won't put his schedule ahead of his wages and cuts the engine when he stops at the lights.
Got to get my fuel bonus. Can't waste a fiver in this day and age.
There's an extra £5 in it each day if he's economical with fuel. And anyway, of the two drivers, Little Eddie thinks he's earned it.
My run's harder than his. I've got to actually deliver the cans. He just moves them from A to B. I take them to C.
A couple more minutes on the pedal, and Eddie's at the brewery, but his mission isn't over yet.
It's a tricky tight corner up the top, and then you've got to reverse back and just miss the wall, so here's hoping today I miss it.
Steadily inching back. He clears the low wall and reverses into the unloading bay.
First time I ever came up here, I was absolutely petrified. I had no way of knowing what to do. There was nobody here to help me or nothing. And thankfully, one of the forklift drivers came out and says, "This is what you do."
It's a tight squeeze. But with the wall still intact, Eddie hooks up to offload the cans. But this is no ordinary trailer. Known as a live bed, it carries up to 84,000 empties. It features a conveyor belt on the floor that shimmies the load out. Controlled by a hydraulic system, it takes only one driver to offload the entire delivery. With 3 live beds in the fleet, up to 20 pallets can be taken off in only 5 minutes, saving up to 60 minutes from a regular offload. With his live bed in full swing, Eddie needs to make sure the cans stay safe.
All you do now is you always check, just at here, make sure all your pallets are coming off cleanly. Every gap between the pallets, you can just check through and see the back side of it.
The empties are at their drop in the nick of time, but there's still one more job. This savvy Scott's got to fetch something important for Big Eddie.
Thank you very much, John.
Enjoy it, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Happy birthday, Eddie.
And with the double Edda done, this trucker is off to collect his bonus.
That's everyone now at Senior Park going to be happy. Cans are in time, going to be loaded up with a lager, and then delivered onwards. Job done.
The company's red and green trucks now stand at 2,500. And with trailers including live beds and road trains, they're well equipped to carry specialised loads. One such trailer, built for all things messy, is the biomass, which literally shoves goods out the back door. And besotted with his truck's quirks, named after his wife and daughter, is 45-year-old biomass tramper Tim Fox.
Like my wife and my daughter, it does have its moments. It'll work when it wants to, it can be temperamental. But it's female, you know.
Now this father of one is enjoying the view from the top in his very own war against waste.
I've clocked in this morning to my office window. It's the best job in the world.
It's 7:15 a.m. and Tim's girl is filled to the brim with 26 tonnes of wood chip at a yard in Cumbria.
All sing along, the wheels on the truck go round and round. I'm peaking too early, aren't I?
This morning, our waste disposal warrior's driving 41 miles west to the Igesund power station in Workington, where his wood chip will be burnt as fuel. Next, he'll retrace his steps back to the Clifton yard and reload with 22 pallets of compost. After that, it's a mighty 340-mile slog south with an overnight stop to 2 DIY stores in Fareham and Havant. With the sun shining as he heads west on the A66, this driver of debris is in fine fettle.
Up to now, today is looking good. Having said that, there's always somebody waiting to go and blouse it up for you.
That's more like the Tim we know. 20 miles passing the beautiful Cumbrian mountains, our waste wizard starts getting all poetic.
There's not many better places. The scenery is fantastic. So the mist is lifting now, so you can start seeing them at the hills. The road itself, I love driving on this kind of road. Motorway works all right, it gets you from A to B, but it's boring. This just keeps the juices flowing a bit.
Although he enjoys the great outdoors, there's still danger at every turn.
You've got to watch the sheep. Dangerous little woolly-backed assassins. You're pulling a lay-by, you'll be careful you don't get too close to them. They're quite savage round here. You look a sheep in the eye and tell me who's going to come off second. They'll have you. They lull you into a false sense of security. You think, and you try and stroke the little woolly monster. Next thing, bang, it's stuck one on you. Best place for a sheep is at the side of some roast potatoes, peas, carrots and a little bit of mint sauce.
Tim soon through the dangerous pastures and back in the safe arms of industrial wasteland.
That is us stopped for, I reckon, a good 2 hours.
With a long line of trucks waiting to spit their load out, this glorious day's starting to stall.
There'll be as many as 9 trucks in front of us. So, in a situation like this, what you need to do, the first thing you have to do now, is put the kettle on and make a cup of coffee. If that fails, it's curry pot noodle. It's getting serious when you start cracking the pot noodle out. It's getting serious. Sit down, feet up, get my iPad out, have a look on the internet for some bits for my Volkswagen camper van.
Always a man to utilise his time wisely.
The day was looking straightforward. It was looking like it was going to be a good day. It's just gone to pot now. Not a bad cup of coffee, that. Sit and enjoy the view.
45 minutes later, the trucks slowly trundle up the queue, but Alice and Victoria's going nowhere fast.
The next plan is now, is put the toast on. There's a decision to be made though with this, because I've got butter in the fridge, some toast and butter, but I've also got some cheese slices, and I've got some brie in there as well, nice piece of brie. I'll just go with butter, save me cheese for me crackers.
It's a difficult job, deciding on a trucker's tucker.
Man's got to eat. Very nice.
And eat he shall. Luckily, Tim's cab is kitted out with everything bar the kitchen sink. Installed with an inverter so the usual 24 volts become a whopping 240. It runs the same power as a household kitchen, and it's also tooled up like one, with a fridge, microwave, kettle, grill pan, and toaster. Tim's never lost for gadgets to rustle up something tasty, often delivering to locations up to 20 miles from a bacon butty, a long way for a hungry trucker. His mobile home means he'll never go hungry. After a long hour and 15 minutes, there's eventually some action. Tim reverses in.
Happy days.
And tips his load. After 2 hours at the power station, he's finally ready for a swift ride back to the woodyard.
That's it. Go. Things are looking average. It's a feel-good day today. It kind of feels right. But when you feel like that, that's when it bites you on the arse.
Tim's right to hedge his bets. The 2 hours at the power station have delayed his next pickup and long slog south. Find out later if he can avoid killer sheep and reach his overnight stop within his driving hours. Coming up, will waste warrior Tim Fox's sat-nav drive him round the bend?
I can't go.
Up in Cumbria, biomass tramper Tim Fox is on the second of 3 drops. He's at a yard in Clifton, where his specialised walking floor trailer will be loaded with 22 pallets of compost. After that, he'll be slogging nearly 340 miles south to 2 DIY stores on the coast. With no time to lose, Tim tools up.
Get my laptop. That's my laptop. High tech.
And readies his trailer, pulling the movable wall known as the bulkhead into position to ensure the compost will fit.
That's it, the first two are on. All I do, you walk it out and walk it in. If you let go of the switch, it turns itself off. That's so you can't set it walking in and walk away, because if you do, it'll just walk straight out the front of the trailer.
Now that would ruin your day. 125 dedicated drivers work with walking floors in the fleet. 2 pallets weighing 2.5 tons are forklifted onto the trailer at one time. A system of planks moving alternately or in unison walks them in or out. The beauty of this floor is that it can load or unload both loose and palletised goods, making them among the more versatile and efficient trailers in the fleet.
So that's it, fasten it up, lock it down, and away we go.
For the second time today, Tim heads out of the yard.
They're looking good. According to the sat-nav, we could be there for, well, with a break, 8:30, 9 o'clock.
He's got 7 hours of legal driving time to get as close to Portsmouth as possible. And still with 330 miles to kill, he steers Alison Victoria onto the M6 and hits the cruise control.
Boom. That's it now. 3 lanes of tarmac.
With clear roads, he pushes south out of Lancashire. But the allure of the services is too much to pass up.
Had a cup of coffee. I fought the temptation to have a burger valiantly. Lost valiantly. I've got a cheeseburger.
Sensibly keeping his tank topped up, Tim pounds another 125 miles south. But with the sun setting and bad weather taking hold, he can slog it out no longer.
I've got where I wanted to be. Oh, I've done all right. No dramas.
At 8 o'clock, with 7 hours of driving behind him, Tim joins the row of sleeper trucks in the services.
And that donkey is that. Now I've stopped.
6 a.m. the next day, and after the morning's ablutions,
Caffeine and mouthwash. A certain kind of contrasting taste, though.
our trucker hits the tarmac for the 50-mile ride down to Fareham in Hampshire. Tim's never been to this penultimate drop before and typically is expecting the worst.
The actual store itself should be pretty easy to find. They're usually very big and very brightly coloured. But the postcode on the delivery notes doesn't tally up with the address.
Nevertheless, he's got a tried and tested solution for this kind of problem.
It's an old technique that only the older drivers know. If that packs up, we don't go, I can't go. We don't do that. You can get yourself to the town, and what we do is look for people. And you stop and ask. You know, you just use a bit of that.
20 minutes later, and Tim's off the motorway.
The sat-nav's trying to take me down that little back road there. It's a 50-50. Do you go with the postcode or do you go with the address?
Perhaps it's time to put the method to the test.
There's the store. Right. We need to turn round, go back, and try the other way. What can you do?
Ask someone?
We'll spend the next 3 hours driving backwards and forwards now trying to find it.
But then, in the distance, Tim spots a sight for sore eyes.
Oh, look at that. Bacon. Oh, bacon.
But fortunately, isn't too love-blind to miss the entrance to the drop.
Brilliant thing about it is when we come out of here, there's a snack bar in the car park and get a bacon sandwich. So that's breakfast sorted.
With the smell of bacon urging him on, Tim fires up the walking floor to shimmy off the compost. Reversing the floor planks, he then walks the remaining pallets up to the front of the trailer to evenly distribute the load. Too much weight sitting at the back could cause the trailer to swing dangerously on corners, or worse still, break the axle.
That's the first time in a long, long time they've actually gone straight back in like that without any problems. That's put a smile on my face.
The drop was a doddle, and in no time he's back in the cab and on the trail of breakfast.
I'm going to stop here because my foxy senses spy bacon. Bacon sandwich, here I come. All right.
But before Tim can sink his teeth in, he's intercepted by a spotter who's interested in more than just his truck.
The only caught us going to stop for a bacon sandwich.
Oh, can I have your bacon sandwich as well?
Can you have me bacon sandwich? You can have a bite if you want. Are you hungry?
No, it's really lovely to see you down here, it really is.
Don't believe her, Tim. She's only after your baguette. Obligatory photos done.
Lovely. Really, really nice. Lovely woman.
Tim can finally get on with his brekkie.
It brightens the day, it does. It puts a smile on your face. It's not the only thing that makes you smile. The old bacon baguette. That puts a smile on my face and my tummy. That's cool.
Tim motors the final 14 miles to Havant, where his trusty lady again does a fine offload of the remaining 11 pallets.
That's it, we've done. We've got both drops off. No dramas. The biggest problem I had was convincing the guy at the last place how to cook the bacon.
And with that, this wily fox sets off to sniff out lunch.
Onward bound!
Next time, a cross-border dash for Tim Fox.
If I don't make it to Dalbeattie, well, I have to.
Fleet boss David Cox hits the factory floor to see how the trucks are actually made.
It's fascinating just to see how this all gets bolted together.
And Matt Eakins got that Friday feeling. But so have London's roads.
Game over. You cannot go anywhere around London and not hit traffic.